All right, welcome to day 4. If you're still with us, I am so excited because we're getting to the place now where the rubber meets the road. So hopefully over the last 3 days, you've accumulated all of your reasons and you've accumulated now all of your visions, all of your possibilities, and you've begun, at least with both of those, to kind of narrow those down and get some themes and some highlights and some excitement about your destination and about why you're doing what you're doing. And all I can tell you is, as we go through here and talk about your why and your reason, as I'll come to tomorrow in day 5, is where you go next. It'll be critical to understand the intersections of those 3 components. And today we're going to deal with the 3rd component, which is your unique value. You say, well, I'm selling a product that's just like everybody. There's a lot of people out there selling that product. Or my service, I'm a consultant. There's plenty of other management consultants. There's plenty of other real estate agents. There's plenty of other whatever. All I can tell you is, in this particular next 2 days, this exercise, this process you're going to go through, you're going to discover and hopefully get clarity on what your unique value, what it is that you bring, you and you alone bring to your ideal client. Okay? So that's where we're going to go. Vision Challenge, day 4. What is your unique value? Again, this is the 3rd leg and our final point of triangulation. And I say triangulation because when you think about your unique reason, your unique vision, and your unique value, that the overlap of those 3 points is like finding where you are with a GPS. You need 3 satellites to triangulate to figure out where you're at. These are the 3 satellites. These are the 3 things that will give you that point, that focal point, that place in your business, in your life, that you can apply every bit of energy. If you listen to a motivation tape, if you listen to direction, if you're trying to get somebody to help you do what you're doing, if you know those 3 things, you can go forward with confidence and power. So today we're going to give you the 3rd piece of that. It's you have that unique value. You, just like your unique reason and vision, it's you. It's the foundation. This unique value part, I know Jenna Apgar here in the room with me and my partner in the Business Growth Network will tell you over and over and over again, it is the foundation for sales, marketing, and ultimately the market's demand for what you do, is knowing what transformation, what value you are providing to your ideal client. And that's not everybody. Not going to get into that in detail. If you want to understand what a lot of that means, come to the workshop on Monday after the Vision Challenge, and you'll get some more insight into how to really figure out and narrow in on your market. But we today are going to focus on that unique and that ideal client. I want to park there for just a second and tell you that your unique client for this exercise, for this process, will be critical to you being able to answer the 4 questions I'm going to have you answer today. Because if you can name that client, I don't want an avatar. If you want to talk about avatars, again, come to the workshop. We'll talk to you how to do that, how to expand that. But if you want to make the most and be effective here with these 3 triangulation points and getting your unique value, I want you to think about one person. I want you to build one bridge, as Jenna would say. I want you to know exactly who that person is. And it's a person. And even if you don't have, maybe you've never sold yourself, maybe you're just getting started. You say, I have this idea. Well, guess what? Maybe you did it to yourself. Maybe you're like one of my clients, one of the people I'm counseling with, where she did it to herself. She lost a bunch of weight. She did things. She had a process. She had a way that transformed her life. And she wants to take that to market. Okay, she's the ideal client. Maybe you have something where nobody's ever paid you for it, or maybe you've done it for people and you continue to do it for people and people continue to come to you for that, and there's a person that you provided the most value to, and that person will be your ideal client. So pick one. Don't overanalyze, but pick one. There's one that I'm sure will come to mind. And I want you to work with that person. And again, we're going to talk about what that unique value is, but suffice it to say that where we're going with this is it's 90% outcomes and 10% service delivery. Nobody wants to hear, okay, we're going to go through a 5-day vision challenge with an hour a week and blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to sign up for your program. Nobody's going to buy your product if all you're selling them is all the stuff that they're going to have to do to make it get an outcome and not even talking to them about the outcome. The outcomes are what we're going to focus on. What it is that people get by working with you. So just so you know, so this is discovery. Remember, the process is discover and then clarify. We're in the discover phase today in day 4 of your unique value. So today, again, we're going to be doing brainstorming, and we've got some specific questions, and I'm going to show them here on the slide that I want you to do. Take your journal or whatever note, just like we've done before. Write down at the top of that journal or on that page the name of your ideal client. Not a collection of clients, not a type of clients. You say, well, I've got multiple types of clients. Which one do I pick? Pick your ideal client. If you could have 100 of them lined up at the door, or as many as it takes to fill your pipeline, what would be the one you would pick? That's the one I want you to focus on. We can always take that information and work with other products or services or types of engagements that you would look at. But I want you, again, to build one bridge, to completely focus on that unique client. Now I want you to brainstorm. Again, don't edit, analyze. I know I keep repeating it, but I can tell you there's a reason. Because I've done this with people, we've learned through the process, people tend to go through, listen to, well, I thought about this, but, and they work through it. So set a timer for 45 minutes, generate 2 pages or more of value statements using the prompts I'm going to give you in the email, and I'm going to bring up on the next slide. And so first one is, actually it's the first question is, what specific results did this ideal client get from working with you? And when I say specific, they lost 100 pounds. They took over 50% of the market. They got their lives straightened out. The relationship with their wife changed. Specific results based upon the service that you provide or the product you provide. They got healthy. They got wealthy in this specific way. How many dollars? Quantify it. Give me as much impact as you can define. And be bold. Take credit. Don't say, well, it was also, like I said, I'm working on my 6-pack abs, and I'm using supplements, and I'm using diet, and I'm using exercise, and I'm getting input from different people helping me with that. Guess what? All of them can take credit for that. I don't care. All of them can take credit because they were all part of my transformation of the value equation. So take your clients, your impact, and take credit for the impact that you've had on their life or on their business. Okay, that's the first one, the direct and very specific results. The next one is, because that happened, because they got their life straightened out in their business and they're working, they're energized, and they're doing what they really love to do all along, their whole family relationship dynamic changed. They didn't have to travel, their kids got off of drugs. There could be a ton of different things that are indirect or consequential to the direct result that you occurred. Get those down. Write those on your journal. Keep writing. Okay, I'm giving you things that will give you the impact and the value of what it is that you're trying to achieve. This is the one where if you can get this one, I tell this to people that are in the life insurance business or the financial planning business or the management consulting business or the personal development or the executive coaching or all these things. Take what your experience is, look at what that ideal client got as far as goodness out of engaging you, and flip it around. What if they hadn't engaged you? This takes a little bit of projection forward. I'm not looking for a detailed analysis. Don't get out your spreadsheets. This is not an exercise in math. This is an exercise in your experience, guided by the path that people follow if they don't engage you, and specifically what this client would have experienced had they not engaged you. They would have continued not to make decisions. Maybe they would have been out of business. Maybe they would be dead. Maybe if it was life insurance, maybe they would have died and their family would have been left without money. I mean, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. The reason why that's so important is because when you're going to fund your journey, when you're going out there, if you know the cost to that prospective client for not working with you, what it's really going to cost them, you won't be bashful about what you're going to charge for your services. Because you know if you're charging them $10,000, that your ideal client gets $1 million worth of value. I mean, when I was working in the corporate world, they paid me $1 million. You say, oh, that's a lot of money. That's more than 99% of the rest of the people. Big deal. I did a $64 billion transaction. What value did they get if they didn't have me? They wouldn't have got the $64 billion. Am I worth $1 million? You bet. Okay, so if you can make those kind of transactions and you can understand that kind of value equation, you won't have any trouble pricing and taking your message to market, your why, your unique reason, your unique vision, and your unique value. You can properly promote and sell and grow that in the marketplace, okay? Last one is kind of one, if you still got a couple of pages. This one's not one that I'm that excited about. It's more kind of same old stuff, but what are the biggest sources of pain that you relieved for that particular client? If you still need what kind of things were they complaining about or whatever, and hopefully that'll fill out at least 2 pages. Frankly, if you're really working with your unique client and you really think about it. The other thing I want to say here is no points for marketing speak. If you end up writing these value statements and they sound, and the marketer in the room would look at it and say, oh yeah, I get that. That would really be good copy. It's terrible copy. The reality of it is we want to hear what your customer actually said, or what you can imagine they said to their family, to their friends, about what you did for them. Those words, real authentic words that we talk to people. That's what I want you to do. And then be bold again, assume, use your experience, not analysis. This isn't, again, an analytical exercise. This is one of the heart. This is one of connecting and providing yourself and your business with your focus. And finally, then we want you to share. You can share my unique value is, or my unique value enables my client to, or again, if we're still in the discovery phase, if nothing really comes to you that you want to try out on the engagement group, that's okay. Just put, I'm imagining the value that I provide to my ideal client or something like that. I mean, I'm okay with it. Again, I just want to know that you're here. We want to know that we're helping you along this journey, and that's part of the reason why we have the Business Growth Network Insiders. That's why we have the Vision Challenge and Great Engagement Group. That's part of this, is we are a community. Life is a team sport. Business is a team sport. Going forward and success is a team sport. We want to work together, okay? And then marinate on that. So I think that would be it for day 4, and we're now going to go into day 5.